How are you?
I'm
Hey, there you are.
doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
Good.
good, man. Hey, thanks for joining me.
Yeah. So thanks for
Th
having
Thanks for your patience
me.
in setting
No
this
problem.
up. I've had a lot going on and um but I've been listening to your music a lot and I love it. So
Oh,
it's
awesome.
gonna be fun for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And hopefully for you too. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'd be my first podcast, so
Yeah.
you know,
So
I'm glad you're here to drive the bus.
yeah. Yeah, I'm the first. Your virgin podcast. Yes. So yeah, so I already hit record. Okay, I try to do that
Okay,
early
that's
on
fine.
just so I don't miss anything, and
Sure.
you know I'll do a bunch of editing. So
Good. In case I
whatever
say something
whatever
stupid
get
or
whatever
whatever.
gets said that you don't want said, tell me.
All right.
I'll
So far, we're good.
I'll get rid of all if there's any awkward silences or ums or whatever, just so you
That
know.
sounds that
And
sounds good.
if you need to take a break along the way, just let me know too.
Oh, awesome.
So
Sounds
yeah,
great.
again, I really appreciate you joining me, and um, I'll do an intro, when I do the podcast, but
Hmm.
just take a minute to introduce yourself,
Okay.
and I'll do the same after you're done.
Yeah. Well, as far as project, I'm called Airedale. My real name is James Anderson. They call me Jim Anderson. Um,
Do you
that's
prefer Jim?
that's what I've always gone by. So
Okay, I'll do
yeah. How about
Jim then.
yourself? Are you
Well,
Jimmy
I'm Jimmy
James?
James. I put Jimmy James. I kind of just started going by that because
Okay. I like
I was
it.
always James growing up.
Right.
My mom insisted that I be called James.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a Jimmy or a Jim,
Yeah.
and my mom refused to allow anyone to call me that.
I know I started out as Jamie when I was little, but then my dad said, "You're too old for Jamie. You're gonna be Jim," and that was the end of that. So,
Yeah, my mom used Jamie when she wanted to embarrass me in front of
oh, great!
people,
Parents
at
are good at
school or
that.
whatever. Yeah, if I wasn't listening or, she wanted me to, it's time to go or something like that. But but
That's
yeah, and
funny.
then in college I switched to Jimmy. Well, kind of towards the end of college, I switched to Jimmy. I was like, hey,
Okay.
wait a minute, I get to decide now. I've
Yeah.
suddenly realized. And so then a lot of people knew me as James and a lot of people knew me as Jimmy.
Mm,
So this kind of embarrassing. Well, maybe not, maybe it's not embarrassing, but when I went on to when Facebook was blowing up, in the
yeah. Yeah.
mid to late 80s or mid to late 80s, mid to late 2000,
Right. Right.
2008 maybe.
Yeah.
I
MySpace
I
was
went on.
dwindling.
MySpace was dwindling. I went onto Facebook and
Right.
some people, I was going by Jimmy most of the
Yeah.
time, but some
Sure.
people wouldn't know who I was because they
Okay.
knew me as James. So I
Right.
just made it Jimmy James, and
Excellent.
then I kind of liked it, and so
Hmm.
I usually put that now, but
Okay.
mainly I go by Jimmy. So
I'm sure you're probably familiar with Jim James, right?
Jim James,
Uh,
who's Jim
My
James?
Morning Jacket singer.
Oh
My
yeah,
Morning.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I always think of that when I
There's
see
a few
him.
Jimmy Jameses. There's a Jimmy James on the show. It's called News Radio.
Oh, okay.
So there's a few
Awesome.
around, but so
Very
yeah,
cool.
so you go under you as you said, you make music under the project Airedale,
Yes.
right? Um,
Yeah.
and do you want to add anything to that or?
Well, I was going to tell you where it came from if you'd
Sure.
like. Okay.
Yeah, I want to get into that so we
Okay.
can do it. Yeah, go for it if you
Okay.
you have
So
something to say.
Airedale's a mechanic in the Navy, and I was a Navy mechanic. I worked on
Hmm.
F-14 aircraft in the mid '90s. Like we're Top Gun, the aircraft on Top Gun. So I was a mechanic, and I was like, how about Airedale? I could use that because pretty much everything's been used as far as names. It's hard to find, a good name. I'm like, oh, that hasn't been used. All right, I'll use that. And that's what it was.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. I think it's pretty unique. I was wondering, I was hoping you would
mhm.
say where it came from,
Yeah.
and I have some other questions related to that we'll get to, but
Okay.
I think, it's this is kind of my assumption,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure why. Maybe just because of the music that we both like. I think we might possibly have had similar upbringings, especially related to religion,
Right.
maybe,
Hmm.
and Christianity.
Yes.
So I just kind of wanted to start at the beginning and just ask,
Mhm.
what was your spiritual upbringing like?
Sure. Um, let's see. Yeah, always in church, probably 3 or 4 times a week growing up. Baptist. I think we started out, and then we moved to Pentecostal. Was Pentecostal, and so still go to church, and still go to that church, that type of a church to today.
Do you go to
So
a Pentecostal church that
I do. Yeah.
in that arena? Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, it's well, it seems pretty non-denominational, but
Yeah.
kind of goes by. There's a quite a variety of people there, from different backgrounds. So, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, I also came from, I was a Southern Baptist. That's how I was raised.
Okay.
And went to a Christian school, so I was very immersed in the culture. I would say my school was more of the very a fundamental
Okay.
type of school. So around here they were called Bible churches. I don't know,
Mm. Is
basically.
Missouri? Is that right?
It's yeah, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so on the
Definitely
Missouri side.
Bible Belt.
Yeah, yeah. So in the church I go to now it's like a community church. There's a lot of
Okay.
community churches now. So it's very similar to what you described. There's a lot of different
Right.
types of
Yeah.
people there, and it's kind of a come as you are type
Yeah.
thing.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so what about your musical beginnings?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I started playing guitar when I was 14. Um, I think originally I was in a metal, and of course I couldn't have secular CDs or whatever. So I was listening to stuff like Striper, Baron Cross, White Cross, Vengeance. I don't know if you remember any of those names.
Oh yeah, I know them all.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
So, so
Yeah.
and they always had like a secular counterpart. Like Baron
Uh-huh.
Cross sounded like Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
and White Cross sounded like Rat, and
Yep. I was a big
so
Rat fan, so when White Cross
yeah,
came out, I was like, "Oh, yes."
that's it. Yeah, he's got a great voice, Piercy. So
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, that's how I started into that. Then became good friends with a guy named Jerry. He was a kid at the time, and started introducing me to punk rock, and at that time he was listening to U2 and Bauhaus and The Cure
Mm.
and stuff like that. So he introduced me to that, and my whole taste changed. When I started hearing more
Yep.
unique music like that, something sparked, interest in me, and I switched over, at that point. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much the same for me.
mhm.
Around here there wasn't a lot of, there was like the top 40, then there
Mhm.
was the Christian music culture, and
Mhm.
I got some of the alternative stuff in there, but it was very
Okay.
fringe stuff, like Daniel Amos
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and Undercover,
Hmm.
bands like that.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I got into college that I really kind of got exposed to some of those other bands that you're talking about,
Mhm.
and developed my love for post punk and new wave.
Right.
I had a love for it before, but it was like
Mhm.
very top 40. What I heard it
Yeah.
on top 40, U2,
Hmm.
Devo,
Yeah.
yeah, bands like that. But
Hmm.
so what inspires you to create songs?
I think I have a friend. He's in a band in Nashville called Palm Ghosts, and I was listening to his music, and they're post punk and they're really good. And I was like, I could do something like that, and then so I just started messing with synthesizers and my guitars and bass and programmed drums, and just started putting stuff together. I was kind of inspired by what they did. I don't think I'm as good as them or anything, but that was my inspiration, was listening to their music, and I'm like, I could do something where it's influenced by what I grew up with, and try to have a modern edge to it, maybe if possible. I don't know if I pull that off, but
I think
uh,
so. I
oh,
think so. And yeah, it's a lot easier now, right? With you
mhm.
know, DAWs and
Yeah,
stuff like it almost
yeah,
makes anything possible, like compared to what it used to be.
yeah. I have my
But
hands on pretty much any synthesizer you can ask for. I mean, the plugins are amazing, and
hmm hmm
so
right.
synthesizers, and then guitar. I play guitar. Drums now they have AI drums, so they follow you. So as long as you're in time, the drums follow, and I think they sound pretty good. They're getting better.
Wow.
Um, I'd prefer to have a drummer to work with, but I haven't quite found a drummer that has the equipment to record and send me files yet. So maybe one day.
It seems like everybody I talk to, the drummer is the hardest thing to find
I think so.
to nail down.
Right. I have some drummer friends, but none of them have like the equipment at home to
Yeah.
make it into a file and send it to me. So as soon as they start doing that, then I'll use them instead.
Well, what you're doing sounds pretty good. I didn't realize that the AI now had where it follows you. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I took me a little while to figure it out, but it's pretty simple once you understand it,
Yeah.
and it's great. I like it. Hmm.
So, what was the first album you bought?
First album. Trying to think, the first one I can think of is "Against the Grain" by the Altar Boys,
I
which I
love that
love.
one. I
Yeah,
still love it.
yeah,
I still listen to that sometimes.
it's a great album.
Yeah.
Especially at the
Yeah.
beginning, like that first song is just awesome. How it starts, and the whole album's great. I have it on vinyl, and so that's my first album. First CD was "Chase the Kangaroo" by the Choir. So that was my first CD, and I was kind of blown away about how crystal clear the sound was. I had this large CD player. It was a single CD, but size of a VCR.
You're right.
But it sounded so good. It was like
Yeah.
there's no noise. It's just it's clear. It's nice. So,
Yeah. They put a lot of work into the production of that album, and it
uh,
was it was just pretty awesome when it came out. It was pretty groundbreaking and just kind
mm,
of blew me away as well.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I
Yeah.
had it on CD for a long time,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I remember that was my first CD though. It was a
wow.
great album.
Those yeah, both of those great first album, great first
Hmm.
CD. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what?
Yep.
So was the Ultra was Against the Grain on vinyl or was it on
Yeah.
cassette at the time?
Yeah. I have it somewhere in my pile behind me. It was on
And so
vinyl.
you originally bought it on vinyl.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. That's pretty
So
cool. Pretty
yeah, it
cool.
was that. I got a Steve Taylor album, I remember when I was young, and my parents made me send it back because it's
Oh,
something he was
was it
saying in his
was it I
songs.
Predict 1990?
Probably.
That's the one that got all the scrutiny.
It was before the 90s, so
Mm.
um
Well, it could have been that one, but it was maybe it was on the Fritz or something. What
I
did it?
think I Want to Be a Clone, is that an album?
That yeah,
I think that was
yeah,
it. But there was
really.
I think it was that song specifically where it sounds like he's saying negative things, about faith, but
Well, he kind
it's
of was saying negative things about the church, and
right, right,
well, you know that, yeah,
right.
but
But they didn't understand that, so I
very
just remember
surface, yeah.
they they
On the
made me take
surface,
it
he utilized sarcasm,
back.
so
Right.
much and parody so much that I
Yeah.
think there were a lot of people that, especially adults at the time, who, in
Didn't.
the Christian music uh, realm, pretty
Hmm.
much everything was pretty much up front, right?
Right.
So they're
Hmm.
going to take it that way. Oh, that's, you know,
Right.
he's,
Yeah.
yeah, what
They
he's
didn't
saying,
get
he
it.
literally means, but
Hmm.
oh, had to send it back. Bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah. I do remember that.
I
When
actually
I
had that vinyl.
did
That's one
you?
of the vinyls. Yeah, that's one of the vinyl albums I bought in the 80s.
Okay.
And I don't have it anymore. Um, I think my
Hmm.
brother took it and sold it or something while I was in college. A bunch of my
Okay.
albums, bunch of my albums disappeared while I was gone.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and that was
amazing.
and that was one of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those are worth quite a bit of money if you look on Discogs now
Oh
and what they're
yeah,
selling them for. It's
yeah.
pretty crazy, but there's only so many of them out there, I guess.
At the time, it was like, yeah, I'm not sure I want the vinyl. I want, yeah, I'd rather
That's
have the
right.
cassette or the CD. But
Right, it's more
yeah,
portable.
all of a
But
sudden now it's like they're worth something.
yeah.
But so you kind of mentioned a couple influences, but I was going to ask what your earliest influences in the
Mm,
more alternative music
right.
scene were. You mentioned Bauhaus, you
Sure.
mentioned The Cure.
Yeah. So I was my high school band was called The Morning, Mourning, and
Okay.
we were covering the Sisters of Mercy, and we covered
Uh,
the Smiths,
mhm.
um, The Cure. I think we did like Three Imaginary Boys by The Cure. And then we had our own stuff, which was kind of gothic influenced. Our singer who's a huge Morrissey fan, so he pretty much kind of looked like Morrissey. That was Jerry, the guy I mentioned earlier. He had the
Yeah.
hair that was up,
Yeah.
and all that. And so that was a lot of fun. One of my the biggest bands I was influenced by when I was younger, and I still am, is the Church. I don't know if you're ever a
I
Church
love the
fan.
church. I'm going to a church
Yeah.
concert
Oh, okay.
next week, next
Oh
Tuesday, I
man.
hope.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, you
I
missed the
say that
vintage
because I was
UK, huh?
supposed to go to the Chameleons.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Chameleons?
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
was supposed to go to the Chameleons last night and it got
Mm.
canceled.
Oh no.
I
Yeah, I
bought
missed
tickets
it too.
last year.
Yeah.
There
Hmm.
was a tour last year.
Right.
The whole tour got canceled last year, I think.
Okay. Hmm.
And then this year, just the Kansas City show got canceled because their bus broke down in Denver.
Oh man.
So
That's a
they couldn't
bummer.
get it fixed till this morning, so they
Yeah,
canceled
that's
the
a bummer.
concert. And I was like, "Oh my God."
Right. They
But
couldn't reschedule, I guess.
because I mean, to see the Chameleons, like how many chances, more chances am I
Yeah.
going to have, right? I haven't seen
Right.
them.
That's true.
But the
Hmm.
church, I've had a few opportunities and have never quite made it to a church concert.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going up to Omaha, Nebraska
Oh
next.
man.
Actually, it's Monday, next Monday
Okay.
night to see them,
Yeah.
and
So,
I'm really excited because I'm a huge church fan.
oh,
Like,
cool.
very,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, they're great, and I think
yeah.
they're underrated. I guess I would
Oh
say.
yeah,
How many great songs they had. I mean, just albums. You could listen to a whole album and it's great, and they had
yeah,
many of them. So
yeah.
yeah,
And
I think
they're still making them.
right,
So
right. They're
yeah,
probably bigger in other countries, I assume, than they are in the United States.
yeah, maybe so. They're from
Um,
Australia, right? I
yeah, I
believe
think
so.
so. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I
but
think
yeah,
guitar wise, I've been influenced by them the most. I always liked their kind of a dreamy, atmospheric sound. I always wanted to sound like that. I don't know if I've ever pulled it off, but they definitely are inspirational.
well, I would say you pulled it off because that's one of the bands that came to mind when I was listening to the music. And
Okay.
it's funny that you mentioned Sisters of Mercy because I thought of Sisters of Mercy as well, especially
Right.
in some of the more the newer
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah.
But I thought,
It's
well,
neat.
maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but
Mhm.
you know,
No, no, you're
I just kind of
definitely
heard it there, and then I had to go back to listen to Sisters of Mercy a little bit. And it's like, okay, yeah,
yeah.
I
In
think
fact, I
there's
have a new song I'm about to put out called Spaces Falling, and I have a reference. I kind of do a shout out to them in it,
oh,
so
nice,
I'll just leave
nice.
it at that. See
Yes,
if you
something
can
to look
pick it
forward
up
to.
when I put it out. But I mean,
Nice,
to
nice.
me, it's obvious. If you listen to them, you'll know what I'm, referencing.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
we've got the church, we've got Bauhaus, we've got the Cure,
hmm
Sisters of Mercy. Any other bands stand out? Well, you too. You mentioned you too. I
You
mean, and
too. Yeah,
those are pretty
Edge
big
is
influence on so many people.
right. The
And
Edge
and
is
I hear you too a little bit too,
Oh, sure.
especially in some of the guitar solo stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think a lot of people are influenced by the Edge.
Oh
The
yeah, no
the
doubt.
echoes, delays, and all that he used and still uses. But also Michael Rowe, 77s.
Love the
Always loved
77s.
his guitar style. I don't know,
Yeah.
don't necessarily sound like him, but I do, love his playing. Derry Doherty from the Choir,
Yeah.
definitely. Always loved
Nice.
his kind of dreamy sound that he did with the guitar over the years.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very like an ambient type sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
very nice. Yeah. So if you could pick, maybe you mentioned this already, but forgive me
mm,
if you kind of did, but
mm.
if you could pick one band that influenced you the most, who would that band be?
Would be the church, I would say.
Okay, yeah, you said that. And so
Hmm.
do you have a favorite release by them? Which I have
Uh,
one that's not very popular. That's one of my favorites.
my favorite, I would say, is Heyday.
Oh, Heyday was wonderful. That was a
I
very
love
early
Heyday.
one.
That was one of my
Yeah.
first albums I got. I think it was like a bargain basement tape. I got it, and yeah, it was one of the really early ones. I think it's amazing.
You're not
Uh,
alone.
yeah,
That's a lot of people's favorite. Yeah.
yeah, it's a great album. Gold Afternoon Fix. That was one of my.
That's my favorite.
Okay, that's a great album. That's perfect. The whole album is perfect. So
If you
for
go
me,
look at all the church, you know,
mhm.
chat rooms or whatever,
Right,
that's
right.
one of their least favorite, but
Really?
one of my favorites. But yeah,
Yeah. The Starfish is obviously great.
well, of course. I mean,
But everybody knows that one, you know.
everybody knows that one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, definitely
Yeah,
those two.
Heyday, solid pick. Heyday. Um,
Yeah, that was probably that was my first. I like their shirts in the picture. I was like,
yeah,
they look
I
cool,
think,
so I'm like, I'm gonna check them out.
yeah, I think I got Heyday, or no, I think I got Starfish.
Okay.
And then after I got Starfish, I searched for everything by the church
Right.
and bought everything
Yeah,
that
that's
I
a
could
great
find
album.
as I could
Yeah,
find them. And so I don't know that I don't have every single release they've come out with because some of the more recent ones I haven't been able to keep up with.
yeah.
I mean, and with Spotify, it's like
Right. Yeah, you can
that
hear
kind of
everything.
ruins ruins buying music
It
sometimes. But
does. It
but
ruins it, and it ruins appreciating an album too.
it
It's
does, which is why I try to go to Bandcamp and
yeah,
support and stuff like that,
it's great.
and try to buy from the artist, like if they put out vinyl or whatever, try to
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
awesome. That's great.
But yeah, yeah, Church is magnificent. So,
Hmm.
um, so your music is described in various ways on different on Bandcamp, Spotify, and your link page.
Right.
I assume by you. So I
Yes.
think my favorite description is, and I think this is on your link. It's like a little link tree page that has all
Yeah.
links to all your music,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah. I like that.
So great, makes it so easy.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it says a mix of 80s influenced postmodern music and fuzz. Did you
Yeah.
write that?
Well, I'm also a Brian Eno fan, and a lot of old Eno
Nice.
stuff had fuzz,
Yeah.
Roxy music. So
Yeah.
that's where my fuzz obsessions from Eno and Roxy music, you know, the early stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so
I'm a big fan
yeah,
too. I like
that's my
that
just
little
bad fuzz guy.
background wall of noise that's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I love it when it breaks up so bad that it sounds like it's just gonna
Yeah.
stop working, but then
Right.
that's just the best sound. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Agreed. Agreed. So what is it about the post-punk sound that resonates with you?
hmm. Well, I mean, first of all, post-punk is kind of a broad
It
description,
is.
just like indie rock and
Depends on who
alternative.
you talk to, right? Like what it
Right,
is even.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Yeah. It seemed like alternative, I think originally would been bands like the Church or the Cure, and then all of a sudden there was, you know, the 90s bands came out and they kind of took that name over. And then I think that's when indie rock came out, and that word, which was I think kind of describing the same sort of thing in a way, maybe a little bit different. But
Yeah.
post-punk, I mean, it just brings me back to teenage years, high school. Um,
There's some
a lot of
nostalgia there.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot of great memories. It triggers something, emotionally, I think. And it was great music also. I mean, that was my era. I wasn't a huge 90s fan. In the 90s, I was still big into New Order and
Yep.
The Cure and all them. So I was holding
Yep.
on to that. But I mean, I like some of the 90s bands too, obviously. But
Yeah. On this podcast, one of the things I thought I would do is some shows. I call it the 90s wasteland of music or whatever, something
yeah,
like
okay.
that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
because a lot of the band, I was kind of the same way. I was like, okay, the grunge, I wasn't a huge fan of grunge,
Right,
and
right.
when a lot of those bands kind of took over in the 90s, I was very nonplussed. But now when I look back at
Mhm.
all the music that came out, I'm like, there was a lot of good music that came out in the 90s in the
Yeah.
post-punk and alternative music
Yeah.
scene. I just
Yeah.
didn't know about it all,
Right. That's
until,
true with me as well.
yeah.
Um, like Guided by Voices, I think would have been one of
Oh,
them that was big in the 90s. I think
yep.
they started in the 80s though as well.
Yeah, I think so.
But
They've
I
been around
only
for a
knew
long
them.
time.
Yeah, I didn't know them until the 2000s, somewhere in the 2000s. I guess they weren't very mainstream, but they were
Same.
such a great band. Pedro the Lion, you're probably a Pedro the Lion
Oh,
fan.
yep. Yep.
Pretty awesome.
I got to go
They,
see that. They came to Kansas City last year.
oh,
So got
cool.
to go see that. I actually came this year too, but I couldn't make it. But yeah, love Pedro the
Yeah.
Lion.
I saw him twice as Bazan when he was just Bazan. I
Uh-huh.
saw him. It was awesome. Yeah, great
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. Oh
Awesome.
yeah. Wonderful songwriter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice guy too.
So I want to jump into the morning demos because I listen to all of the music that's posted, I listen to
Okay, good.
repeatedly. So I have all
Oh
these
wow.
songs in my
Okay.
head,
Yeah,
which
awesome.
is a compliment.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Different
thank you
songs are
for
popping into my head at different points,
right.
and I try to do it justice by like really listening and trying to pull all the lyrics out. And
Right.
I was like, okay, I could ask for the lyrics, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to try to pull them all out, of pull them all out of the fuzz. And
Nice.
and
Nice.
so the morning demos. So tell me how that came about.
Okay.
Like, what was that? What was that? Because it was like, I think it says 1991, 1992 in
Yeah. Yeah, I
parentheses. So I'm
was
assuming it was your high school band that you talked about being the morning.
right. Yeah, I was
So
probably about 16, 17 years old. This was, my friend Jerry. We went to church together and so we're like, we should make a band. And he's like, yeah, why not? And he wasn't playing instruments. So I'm like, well, obviously you gotta sing. I'll play guitar. And then we found a bass player that was a huge cure head and drummer, good friend of ours. And yeah, we started writing some songs and playing shows around central New York. I grew up in Syracuse.
no, nice.
So we were playing, we had a manager, at some point. Um I think we had a lot of potential. I mean, we were young and you know, not the best at what we played, but we enjoyed it, and I think there was some potential there for some good future music if we had stuck with it. But
Yeah, I think a few. Just listening to it. Okay, so first of all,
mm,
I'm a guy who loves demo music. Um,
okay,
um, the post-punk ethos is really strong, I think, with demo music because the whole post-punk mind frame is sort of uh more creating works of art,
okay,
necessarily than being musicians. Then I mean that's how U2 was at the very beginning. It's like
yeah,
they didn't even know how to play their instruments very well,
yeah, that's true.
and they kind of
Yeah,
learned along the way, but they were very creative with
yeah,
noises and sounds and putting things together. Um,
yeah.
so I think what I hear, if it would have come 10 years earlier,
Hmm.
it would have been a completely different type of story, I think, for the
Experience,
for
yeah.
that for your music, the music that you put out then,
Right,
those
that's
demos.
true. It was
But
kind of a dated sound at that point, I guess.
well, I don't know that I wasn't trying to say that, but I just think I hear like all the awesome stuff in it, but I think there wasn't an appreciation for it when it came
Right,
around to the late 80s and early 90s because
right.
the more produced, and even the grunge that was coming out was very produced.
Hmm. Like sub pop
There,
stuff.
yeah,
Hmm.
in my opinion, like to
Yeah,
my ears.
David Geffen or whatever. I think he
Yeah.
had something, but yeah,
So,
absolutely. Hmm.
but yeah, so I think you mentioned, so the band name was The Morning or Morning.
Yes,
Okay, at that
of the
point. Okay, that
morning.
was one of my
Yeah, the
questions.
morning.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay, that's one of my questions. So
Yeah,
so were all the you mentioned the various members, were you guys all Christians?
yeah. I would say so. At least we were brought up in the church.
Okay.
I mean, me and Jerry were. you know, I think there are obviously struggles, especially as
Well,
teenagers. But
Christians have struggles, man.
I would say, yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah,
I would
and
say,
question and doubt and all that stuff,
yeah, I would say at
Yeah.
least culturally we all were.
Okay, well, I just asked because a lot of the content is
Hmm.
is Christian oriented.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yeah.
so was there a primary person writing the songs? Was it a joint effort?
Yeah, Jerry was writing the lyrics,
Okay.
and I was writing most of the music, and me and the bass player, he came up with some of the songs as well. So, or we would just get together and play until we figured something out, like, okay, hey, check this out, you know, and go from there with it. Just kind of built on some ideas.
Yeah.
I think that's
So
how.
did you shop the demos around, or was there any of that? You said you had an agent, I think. Did you say that?
Yeah,
So were
we
the
did.
demos shopped around? I
They
mean,
were.
yeah,
He made up like a whole packet full of stuff. I mean, it was, they didn't have the internet like we do now. So he had a whole like
yeah.
manila envelope full of like a 8x10 glossy and a tape cassette. And we got a letter from Subsonic Records back then, and they were supposedly tied to Columbia. And but the ironic part was my friend Jerry joined the army like right before that happened.
Yeah.
So that kind of ended that possibility. Who knows what would have happened if we had, were able to follow through with that, but you know,
So him joining the army pretty much now what he was the singer,
he was a singer,
right? So
songwriter. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they were
yeah.
all his lyrics and
Interesting.
I wasn't
Interesting. You mentioned his hair. So he lost the hair when he went in
yeah,
the
he
army.
did. He did. Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
So
so what was
yeah,
that? Just a hey, I got to figure out what to do with my life, and
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
the army's
Might as well join the
as good a
army.
deal as any. I can get a
That's
GI
right.
Bill, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's
And then
cool.
he
That's
shipped
cool.
off to Korea, so it made it kind of hard for us to make an album.
Yeah, in those days for sure. Nowadays, it's like people are making albums together from across the country.
Right, that's true. It's a
How
lot easier.
crazy,
I do
crazy how
do
it's
some
changed.
file sharing with other people.
Yeah.
There's a few guitar parts and stuff that are done by a friend of mine.
Nice. So, in moments, I wrote this. So I swear I wrote this before you talked. Okay.
Oh, sure.
In moments, I hear the Smiths,
Okay.
Morrissey, The Cure, the
Yeah.
Chameleons, and the Church, and even a little James.
Okay.
You remember
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
band
Oh, yeah.
James?
Yeah.
Now
Laid.
that's
I
just
wrote something
these are
laid.
all just like in little spots,
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
certainly Morrissey, like on oh, that kind of thing, which I love.
Definitely.
I love that,
Definitely.
but you can definitely hear that.
Yeah, he was obsessed at that point.
Yeah.
I think he's a
Well,
little embarrassed
you
about
know
some of
what
that
though?
now. What's that?
I tell him he shouldn't be because I mean,
Well, I'm gonna have him listen, so he'll hear
yeah, yeah.
it.
I think it's great. I told you I listened to it a bunch of times and I'm gonna be listening to it some more.
Oh, thank you. I
I
appreciate it.
loved it a
That's
lot.
great. Awesome.
But and you might have already answered this, but so was there a particular band whose sound, energy, and ethos you guys as a band wanted to capture?
Probably the closest would have, I mean, it would have been a mix between the Smiths and the Cure, I think, at that point. That was who we were all big fans of. I know the 90s were there, and like our bass player, he wanted to start heading towards that sound. And we didn't want to go that way. We were trying to hold on to the nostalgic sound that we were writing. Um, but pretty much at that point, it was it was the end.
Yeah.
Jerry joined the army, and yeah. So
You guys remind me a little bit. Have you heard of the band Luxury?
no,
Okay.
no.
Luxury was a band that came out, it might have been a little bit later.
Okay,
Um, but you guys remind me a little bit of Luxury. Now, Luxury, when you go and listen, it will be
hmm,
more polished and produced.
Sure.
because it's produced, it's releases. But
Definitely.
I don't know that they have any demos, but they had kind of a lot of the same influences.
Mm.
So you guys sound kind of like a very raw and unpolished, comparison to that. Not
Oh,
exactly
that's
like
cool.
them.
Yeah.
Your sound is different and better in some ways, but
Mm, that's good.
definitely a band worth listening to.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll check them out. I just wrote it
yeah.
down. So, yeah, I don't remember
Um,
that.
so I wrote down it's a fairly dark sound on the morning demos with a lot
Yeah.
of heavy guitar and synth.
Yeah.
Um, um, I wondered if you've ever heard of the band Sad Lovers and Giants.
No.
That's another band for you to check out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll write
Not
that
a
down.
Christian band.
Yeah.
Luxury was out of the Christian culture, but Sad Lovers
Okay.
and Giants is sort of a band that sounds like the Chameleons, but it's maybe a little more upbeat.
Okay.
Um, but
Cool name.
in Jesus Quench My Thirst, there's a rhythm section that reminds me of one of their songs called Lost in the
Okay.
Moment. So
Yeah.
I just wondered if you'd ever heard of them, but it's not
Yeah.
exactly. It's like a little piece.
Right.
But
Yeah. Well, I was
go ahead.
actually the bass line in that song, I was influenced, at least in my head, by the Pixies. Um
Oh, another one of
do
my favorites.
do 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 do. Yeah, I mean it was almost like a kind of a simple, almost like a Kim Deal sounding bass line. So I was, we were huge Pixies fans also, just like
Yeah,
everybody. So that song, I wrote the music for that, was influenced in my head by the Pixies more than anybody.
nice.
Um,
Well, I think mainly that there's a part that comes in where there's synths. It's kind of like
mhm,
the chorus, I think.
yeah. Mhm.
Um, and that's the part that reminds me of this other song. But
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'll check
but
them out.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I have two favorite tracks from these demos. Okay,
Okay.
right now because it keeps
Sure.
changing. Like as I listen to
Okay.
them, right.
Yeah.
So I really like "Considerate Friend."
Okay.
It's got this kind of really slow background synth,
Yeah. Huh.
and it's got an ascending guitar solo like
Yeah.
during the song, which I really love.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
and my absolute favorite on the album is "Seaside Excuse."
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so it's
Yeah,
got
me
this
too, I think.
pulsating bass line, rolling drums. It's got
Right.
this sonic guitar wall. Um, so I wondered if you could comment on either of the two songs,
Hmm.
and before you answer,
Sure.
and maybe Jerry wrote this. Was Seaside Excuse? It seems like it was about like some confrontive conversation with a friend and sort of a parting of ways because it I think it ends
Yeah.
with, or it says in there somewhere, it's all over between us. I think that's towards the end. It
Yeah.
kind of repeats, it's all over
Yep.
between us.
It's all
So
over between
so
us.
any comments you
Yeah.
have on those two songs?
Yeah, that sounds about right as far as the lyrics. I mean, most of his lyrics were, sad, influenced by Morrissey, obviously. Stories. He was pretty good at writing a story in his music, which I love. Um, and yeah, I agree with that. I'd have to listen to it. It's been a little while
I
since
might be
I've
more
listened
familiar with the lyrics than you
to
since
it.
I've been pouring.
Probably.
I
Probably.
actually went and listened to each song
Mhm.
and wrote and typed down the lyrics
Oh wow.
that I could decipher.
Okay, sure. That's fair.
So I told you
Excellent.
I spend time when I do this.
That's
So
that's great.
so
Very
um so the morning demos, as I said, they're listed as being from 1991, 1992 in that area. And
yes.
then so what happened musically between that time
Mhm.
and your more recent songs, which I think on Spotify you kind of released them as singles and then kind of put them into one album on Bandcamp.
I
And
did, correct.
I think 2019 might have been
Actually, I think it was
the first.
21. I was thinking it was
Okay.
20, but
There's a lot of 21s, I think, on there,
yeah,
the singles kind of
yeah,
with, or maybe two tracks. So what
yeah. It was
happened between then
borderline love song.
musically? The Navy,
Yeah, yeah. I was in the Navy in
marriage,
the 90s.
kids.
I
Yeah.
kind of missed a lot of music in the 90s because of the military, overseas on the ship, and kind of I missed the grunge scene because I was, out on a ship. I do remember a lot of Oasis at that point,
Ugh,
and
okay.
the Spice Girls. they were huge at that point,
Yeah.
which I'm not a fan of,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
they were. That's all I can. When I think of the '90s, I think of them. Radiohead. I was a huge Radiohead
Oh
fan.
yeah. Radiohead's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you just kind of set everything down for a while. Like as far
I
as I mean,
did because I didn't have time to. I mean, I had a guitar when I was not out to sea, so I was actually I got a hold of a 4-track recorder with a cassette, and I was putting stuff down on that even when I was in the Navy. Still influenced by the same kind of music. Um, I mean, I think I was starting to get better at playing, you know, which would have been good. Um, I didn't have another band until like 2010. I joined a alt country band, play guitar for called House and Home from
uh-huh.
Baltimore. So
Hmm.
I enjoyed that. That was something totally different than anything I've ever done. Picked up a lap steel and learned how to play it, at least to
Hmm.
some extent. And I was playing lap steel and guitar for them, and kind of learned how to play country riffs. Just so that was a lot of fun. But that's where I um but I always played in church. I would play for church, and I learned a lot from that. I've always tried to make dreamy sounds, that like ambient background. I always loved swells and echo and all that stuff. So especially like church influence, the church influence sort of sound. Um and yeah, I got I think I got my most experience from doing that, more than, anything else. So I had to learn on the spot many different songs, and or very quickly, and learned a lot of things from that.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to that pressure. All right.
Absolutely, definitely, definitely.
So, how do you go about creating music now versus, obviously, in the early '90s it was a band,
Yeah,
and so
right.
now how do you kind of talked about it a little bit, but
Hmm. Well, it's a little bit different for each song, but often I start with uh, an intro to a song. I kind of build them from the beginning to the end. I always call it building songs, and I'll find a guitar piece I like or a synthesizer. I'll mess with synthesizers till I get inspired by something, and then I'll put that down, and then I'll start working around it and adding to it.
nice. Yeah,
And
your music has a lot of little. You can tell it's built because there's a
mm,
lot of little pieces in there.
right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
So
nuance.
how do you know when it's done?
It's
Or do
tough.
you or do you?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I try to send it to friends and have them listen to it and get some feedback. Obviously not everybody is all that concerned about how my music sounds. So there's a few people that I found that will actually, listen properly and then get back to me and say, "Hey, you should fix this or bring this level up or do this or, add reverb here or something." And so I do always appreciate that. I usually end up over recording. I just have layers of sounds and then I end up taking stuff away. So usually they just sound like way too much is going on. And then I'll just end up getting rid of some of the tracks just because it's too much. I mean, people, it just make it too confusing. So sometimes I think simplifying things is better for them, than just, you know, I don't know. That's just does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. Yeah, and yeah, I get that. I get that. And sometimes it can feel for the listener like, yeah, there's too much there. Like,
Yeah.
I think you did a really good job on these, whatever you
Well,
took away and whatever you
thank you.
left. I think I was really impressed with um well, I think a lot of the post-punk music, there's sometimes there's songs within songs, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have a rhythm and then it'll change later, or
Hmm.
to where you're kind of have a completely different song, and that's present in a lot
Right.
of your songs.
Okay.
And then as I'm listening, I'll be like, oh, this is great. And then then there'll be like some guitar solo or something that just, I'm like, okay, it was great. Now it's fabulous. Like, that you put that in.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
so yeah, that's really impressive.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So there seems to be um, some running, like I'm talking about the unspoken words,
Yes.
which you kind of put those all together on Bandcamp, um,
Right.
all those singles, right?
Yeah.
So there seems to be some running themes in the songs. Um, some of the words I wrote down: regret, longing, desperation, perseverance, hope,
Yes.
and the need for reconciliation.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Were the songs originally intended to be together as a complete album in your mind, or you just released them as you made them, or
Yeah.
were they just some things you put together, because
No,
they
they
were
weren't
singles?
they were just
Yeah,
intended to be singles.
yeah,
It seems like a lot of artists now are just kind of putting out singles. I think the idea of albums is not as big as it used to be, but it depends on the group, obviously. I wouldn't mind making albums, obviously. I just think for Bandcamp, I just put them all together and made it into an album. But pretty much first songs are more recent, and it goes down to like the first couple songs, which is Borderline Love Song and Feeble as I Run, which is what I end in.
so Heat and Pain, that's a song from the morning demos, and you did a new
Yes,
version of it, right?
I did. Yeah, it's a version
Version 2.
2.0.
Right,
Yeah,
2.0, right.
2.0.
um
Yeah,
so why did you choose to rework that song?
just because felt like it was a great song. I felt like, or could have been a great song. Um, if we had, as we had matured as musicians, um, and I wanted to see how I could make it into a Airedale song. Call it an Airedale, which is like an art piece or something. That's an
Sure.
Airedale, but yeah, so I was just like, if Airedale's gonna redo it, how would it do it? And then that's how, a lot of synthesizers, and which is kind of ironic because I've always been a guitar player, so the synthesizer thing, is I've kind of do overwhelming a lot of synth stuff. And I'm not really a synth player, so it's that's probably the takes the longest for me is the
Can't
synthesizer.
tell.
Oh, I appreciate it. So, but it's a lot of hours of, it can be tiring recording. There's been many times where I pretty much fall asleep
I was
sitting at the
I was
computer.
getting ready to ask, do you ever just like, okay, I'm done for tonight?
Yes, yeah. I'll just nod
Yeah,
out a few
yeah.
times, then I go to bed. But yeah, I wanted to, I was like, that would be one song I'd like to try to redo, and so I did a version of it just in the style of Airedale, So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, and you did a great job.
Thank
So
you.
um you may or may not know the answer to this because I wasn't sure if you wrote the songs or somebody else, and apparently Jerry wrote a lot of the demos.
Yes,
Um,
the
so
lyrics. Yeah.
this song, yeah, the lyrics, sorry.
Sure.
So this song has the line, I'm pretty sure this is the line.
Mhm.
I've got my hand wrapped around my gun.
Yes.
I'd much rather have you.
Right.
And then it has another line, go on home, remember who you are.
Yeah.
So this song has kind of a feeling of longing and regret. Um,
Mhm.
can you tell me what the song's about?
Sure. Yeah, that one definitely. It was a story of somebody that went to war, and I think he was probably watching movies about World War I. I think at the time, but it was about a guy going to war, and he's there. He's got his gun, his rifle, and he's lonely, and he misses home. He misses his his girlfriend or wife or whatever, and he's longing to be home with her, and that's really what the song I think is
Yeah,
about.
makes sense. And by the way, the videos, like you have video for the version 2.0 of the song.
Yes.
I love the videos. I love watching these videos.
Oh, that's
They're
cool.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, that one worked out good because it was like a soldier coming, it's
Right?
like a silhouette of a soldier. I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah,
So
and I think it might show him in a chopper plane at one point or something like that.
maybe, yeah. Maybe.
But yeah, it's really cool.
Thanks.
Um, so one of my favorite songs from the Unspoken Words,
Mhm.
what's on Bandcamp as the album,
Sure.
right,
Okay. Yep.
is Subtle Transfers.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
it's got this wonderful post-punky guitar and synth in there,
Yeah.
and it's got the lines, "You will always know I have your back again, forever as a friend." Um,
Yes.
and I long for subtle transfers. It says that in there.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What are subtle transfers? What does that refer to?
That's that's a tough question.
I tried to decipher it.
Yeah, I knew there was gonna be some. I was actually listening to some of them and thinking about some of this stuff because it's been a
And
while.
I know sometimes there's no, there's lyrics and it's like, okay, they're not supposed to mean exactly anything. It's like it's an
Yeah,
artistic, just
yeah, yeah.
stream of conscious type thing. But
Right. Well, I mean, talking to I keep talking about Jerry. Talking to him about one of the onslaught. He said, I love how it talks about a cafe something, and it totally doesn't. But I kind of corrected him on it. Then I'm like, I should have never said anything because whatever it is to him is is
right.
fine. And
Yeah.
so ever since then, I won't do that. If somebody
Yeah.
likes something about a song, even if it's not what I intended, then that's
Yeah.
great. What were we talking about? I'm sorry. Oh,
That's
subtle trans.
okay. No, I'll
Yeah,
make a comment. Oh, go
subtle
ahead.
changes.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm not sure
subtle
exactly.
transfers. Subtle
Yeah, subtle
transfers.
transfers. Yep. But basically, subtle changes in life.
Yeah.
No, it was. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
wasn't.
can
It wasn't
read.
as much thought. I thought it sounded cool, but
It does sound cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Thank you.
says and like I said again, I tried to decipher as much as I could of the lyrics
Sure. Yeah.
without asking for anything.
Yeah.
So it says, I long for subtle transfers. I think then it says, you make me feel it matters. Does that make
Yes.
sense? Is that about right?
You make me
How,
feel that life matters. That
how can
yeah,
it we ever agree? So wow,
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of takes you
It's a
all over.
it's a
But
relationship song. I mean, it's fictional. I mean,
yeah,
I'm married and we're very happy, and
yeah,
we don't have these struggles like that. I mean, we have struggles
yeah,
like anybody, but
sure.
this song was definitely fictional. I will also say my friend John Burkhead sang on it. I was not the singer on that song.
Yeah, I think it says that you have that
Mhm,
listed somewhere. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I have written down, it reminds me of The Cure at the beginning a lot with the synths and the bass line. There's a
Mhm,
lot of and I'm not a musician, so
yeah.
I'll probably get this wrong, like how I describe it. But there's a lot of what I love, which is, I think it's like a guitar, but it's
Mhm.
like the really low notes.
The
Like, so it's not a
do
bass
do.
necessarily, but it's the
Yeah.
low notes of a
Are you
guitar.
talking like the intro or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah, and
that's in
that's
a
how
few of the different songs.
oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean the song started with just that guitar, that first line, the do do do
Yeah.
do 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 do. And I kept repeating that, listening to it. I'm like, man, this is cool. And that was the beginning of it, just listening to that over and over again. And I'm like, what do I want to do with this? Um, I think the keyboard in the beginning was definitely a Cure influence. The
Hmm.
do, I think there was a lot of New Order influence in that song. I don't know if you heard any of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what I've heard from other people
I would
was
say Depeche Mode and New Order throughout a lot of
yeah,
these songs. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely influenced.
And then at the end, there's like it reminds me of a U2 guitar solo. I don't know if
Yeah.
hopefully that's not an insult.
No, not
Right.
at all.
Well,
Not at
some people,
all.
are like, no, I don't want to
Right.
sound like
It,
that.
yeah,
But
it's a lot different than the rest of the song too. It's
oh,
more
yeah, absolutely.
which I
Yeah.
like. I don't like to
Me
be
too.
predictable and boring.
Yeah.
I don't like boring songs, so
Yeah.
I try to surprise people
Yeah.
with
And there's a
stuff.
lot of that throughout
Yeah.
all of these songs, which I love
Yeah.
too.
It might be music
Um,
for ADHD, I think you would call it.
There you go.
which I possibly could have.
Quite possibly.
Right. So
Uh,
yeah, music kind of goes around noises, nuances and things.
so then we've got a borderline love song. I really like
Yes.
that one right now.
Oh, thank
That one's stuck in my head. And I think on YouTube you have Jenny's song
you.
in
Yeah.
parentheses. And I think
Yeah,
if
for a
you
lot.
listen through this, it's kind of about relationship and maybe some regrets on, how you act or, in relationship. And like,
Absolutely.
I really want to give you what you need, right? I really
Right.
want to do what you need and be the
Yeah.
person you need.
Right.
It towards the end, it kind of repeats "Hold on, my love." I think it
Yeah.
says "Hold on, my love." That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
that's what I thought I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About
and it
seven
keeps
times, I believe.
yeah, and it keeps saying that. Okay, I just
Yeah.
wasn't sure. Yeah, it was a little,
Yeah.
but I
Hold
was pretty
on,
sure it
my
was saying
love. I
"Hold
put some a
on,
lot of effects on it.
hold on, my love." Yeah.
That
So
was the very first song I did. I think it's a little, a little messier than the rest. It was the first one, so I mean, I've learned a lot from doing it. I think, and what not to do, what to do, and
I think it's very New Order, like I would
yeah,
say.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely new
like a
order.
lot.
Thank you.
So what prompted you to write it? Was it just
Yeah. Well, my wife Jenny, she's like, you should write a song for me or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So, but and when we first got married, we had struggles. I was married previously, so a lot of wounds to heal,
yeah.
and you know, thankfully things are great now. But I think it was reflecting on the wounds and the how I
Sure.
could have been better. She deserves better than how I was behaving. You know, early on in the relationship. So I think that was what I was doing in that song, was talking about that. Just it was almost like an apology, letter to her.
Yeah.
I would, wish I could be better all the time for you, but I have faults or whatever that I was working through, and obviously always will be working through stuff, I guess. But
Is that why it's called a borderline love song?
yeah, basically. I mean, it was yeah, basically, yeah.
And I think towards the end of this song, it comes in with this really like strong guitar. I don't know
Mm.
how to describe it exactly. You know what I'm talking about? Which part?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's at the end, do
Yeah.
like an instrumental. I even added some. It was like a guitar mini, kind of like old metal
Yes.
songs
I
where
love
you
it.
got
That
the two
sounds great.
harmonizing guitars.
Yes.
I love that
Yes. That's
too.
the part I'm talking about. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I did that. It was almost like an homage to the 80s metal,
Yeah.
in a
It's
way.
really unique. I think it's
Oh, thank
it's
you.
really cool. Yeah.
Thanks.
Um, so there's an underlying current of faith running through the songs, I think.
Definitely.
Is that fair to
Mhm.
say? Yeah.
Very fair. Yeah.
Um, I think it's presented maybe most clearly on the last two songs that are on, at least in running order on what's on Bandcamp. It's
Right.
Feeble as I Run Part 1 and 2, which I think maybe you had them released as one track at the
I
beginning
did
or one
originally,
song,
and then
and
I
then you
split it
remastered
and
them.
made them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got it remastered
yeah,
as part one and part two. Just
yeah,
because I mean I was writing, 7-minute songs, which is a
yeah.
bit much.
I don't
And
know.
for the 70s it would have been fine, but
I think
staying in
Borderline Love Song might be. Is that the one that's like 6 minutes long? I want to
six to
say it
seven,
is.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, which and it, but it's always a compliment when it's like it's that long, but you don't realize it.
Yeah, well, that's
Like
great.
a Radiohead song that's like
Right. Yeah, that's true.
seven
That's
minutes
true.
long, but you hear it and you're like, wait a minute, that's 7 minutes. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize. So it was
Yeah,
so
they could
good.
get away with that,
Well,
definitely.
you did too.
Oh, thank
You
you.
did too.
I appreciate
You did
that.
too, man. So the feel I think it's cool that you split these.
Mm,
Um the feeling of part one for me, like as a listener, right,
hmm. Sure.
um, was kind of like struggling through darkness, doubt, hard times, and
Mm.
continuing to trust in God through that.
Right.
And then at the end, it ends with a question: Can I hold on? And I couldn't quite make out the last part of that. It says, "Can I hold on something, but I couldn't quite
Oh
make it
man,
out. But
let me think.
and that's okay. No, you don't have to remember. It's
Yeah,
cool. But
I
but
have to
um
find my book.
but um but it's like this really kind of a slow plot. It
Mm,
almost sounds like a struggle, like the
yes,
music. Um
yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
definitely.
and then the feeling of part two,
Mhm,
it's kind of like getting through those times and like getting rejuvenated by the spirit and
mhm,
raising up and like,
right.
kind of triumphant, like,
Yeah,
out of
there's
that.
hope. There's hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely, and
So
that pretty much describes me
yeah,
on a daily basis.
yeah.
Highs and
So
lows, and
in a in a age
struggles.
of religious deconstruction,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How do these songs reflect these two songs? How do they reflect the way you experience life and faith?
Hmm. Well, I called the first part I called like my hymn. If I was to write a hymn, this was it. Um, it was definitely the most focused on faith, but I think it's honest faith where I'm not trying to come across as being holy or than others, or whatever. I struggle and go through dark times, deal with things just like everybody does, I guess. Um, it's honesty. I try to be very honest with what I'm writing. So not I would never want to be part of like the Christian music scene because I don't think it's very honest. I think I think there
Yeah,
were bands like you
unfortunately.
too. Bands like you too that, the early albums were great, and I think I'm influenced by that sort of, them and the Call and groups like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Had faith and, weren't afraid to talk about it, but also were honest and had struggles and were human.
Yeah, it's very refreshing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, try to
yeah.
be.
Um, so what's next?
Mm.
You said you said you have a single
Yeah,
that you've been
well,
working on.
two songs I'm working on.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
so I have a song called "Space is Falling," which kind of is talking about like the sky is falling. Things are, I think some things about today are a little bit bleak right now in
Yeah,
society,
for
and
sure.
that's kind of what it's talking about. But I'm not done with it. Hopefully, I have some hope in this. I have to think about it, um, but probably at least a little bit. So I have that song, and me and my friend Frank Cabanas, who he plays on Heat and Pain. He plays like three guitar parts on the chorus for Heat and Pain. So he plays guitar and does some programming on this other song called Causation, and then I do synth stuff and it's kind of a experimental song, but I think it's pretty cool. It flows in a weird way. It's not super long. It's instrumental, and so I think it'll be pretty cool. It's pretty much done. I have to get it mastered, both of those, but both of them are pretty close to being done.
And speaking of instrumentals, A
Mhm.
Sullen Glance,
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Like a really beautiful piece of ambient music.
Thank you.
And a lot of the church's stuff was kind of ambient like that. Have you listened to Hammock? Any of the Hammock stuff?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They collaborated with some of the members of the church
Oh,
on
really?
at least one album.
Oh, okay.
Um, but that's what
Wow.
it kind of reminded me of. And
Yeah.
yeah, or the
I
choir maybe has done kind of some ambient type stuff like that
Yeah.
too.
Well, the
Um,
first intro guitar part I think is very the choir sounding. That the first few chords that I do.
yeah,
There's definitely some Brian Eno ambient influence in the beginning. Somebody had told me, a friend of mine told me that the song reminded him of Roxy music somehow, and I think more at the end probably than the beginning.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, there's some prog influence in there and stuff, progressive rock, from the 70s a little bit, you know.
yeah. Well, I'm excited about what you got coming out.
No, I appreciate
Are
that.
you going to keep doing it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd like to. I like working with other people. It's kind of lonely when you do it by yourself. You know, I do my friend Frank and John. So we've been working together. John has a project called Between Days that he
I
does.
saw that.
Yeah, which is great. So basically, I use him when I can't reach notes. Like if I picked a key
For singing
that's rough for
vocals.
my very minimum range, you know, I call John for that because he's got a, you know, definitely a better range than I do. Um, so, but yeah, I'm always, you know, down for the idea of, you know, having people to work with, but it's hard to get, you know, people that want to get involved. You know,
Sure.
it's hard to
Sure.
motivate a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to do it by yourself because, you know, I could rely on myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So were you influenced at all by the post-punk or excuse me, the post-punk revival? Like any of the bands that came out, like Franz Ferdinand, Block
Yeah,
Party, any of
yeah,
those bands? I love Block
definitely.
Party.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Because your music is very, it kind of has that modern part that you kind of pulled into it too.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think I had series radio or whatever, it's called XM radio. There's XMU. I remember listening to Block Party and, you know, a bunch of bands like that. Franz Ferdinand. I can't think. There's
it's
a whole
pretty
bunch of
easy to go down a rabbit hole with
yeah,
all the bands that
absolutely.
came out,
But
right?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I think that the 2000s have been pretty great with a lot of great music as well. I'm a big Death Cab for Cutie fan.
Yeah,
I think they're pretty awesome, especially when Chris Walla was in the band. I'm a big Chris Walla fan, so I like old Death Cab.
yeah,
Um,
old Death Cab, yeah.
yeah.
My friend was trying to get me to go to, they were in Austin
Mhm.
last weekend, and I was like, no, I have the Chameleons concert on
Yeah,
Sunday, so I can't go to
right.
Death Cab on Saturday. I could have if I'd known the Chameleons was going to be canceled.
In Austin,
It
Texas.
was in Austin. I was going to have
Oh
to fly
wow.
down to Austin.
Yeah.
But
Wow. It's
yeah.
quite a commitment. Yeah.
Um, have you listened to any of the Killers?
Yes. Yeah.
I
I
like
think
the
they're great.
Killers a lot.
Really good live. I saw them live once, and
Oh,
probably the most exciting live shows I've ever seen. They're
really? I've never
very
gotten to see them
energetic.
live.
Oh,
Wow.
they're awesome. Yeah, I think they were great.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they're one of the great post-punk
mhm.
revival bands, and they have a lot of like 80s like kind of influence in there with
Yeah,
keyboards and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I first heard them, I can't remember that one song. Somebody told me, you know, do do
oh
do
yeah, yeah,
that one.
yeah, I know what song you're
That was
talking
like the
about.
first song I heard, and I was like, "Wow,
Yeah,
this is awesome!" And yeah, it's probably why, because it was reflecting, or it was a homage to the '80s, definitely.
yeah. Well, and a lot of times there'll be a song like that, and it'll be like okay, that's their one song that's decent,
Right.
but they have so many good songs,
They
so
do.
many
That
good
whole album's
songs.
great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
they were really good.
So, and they have, I think their most recent one, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Um, if I thought it long enough, I would, but they have, they have a whole bunch of different versions. I can't remember how many of each song, or of
Oh,
several of the songs. They have various versions on the like extended,
oh wow.
thing of the album, which is really interesting. And they're like
Yeah.
all different. Like there's one song that's got like maybe five or six different versions,
Oh,
all
awesome.
different styles. One
Hmm.
sounds kind of um like sort of a bluegrass country,
Oh wow.
version, and one side. It's pretty
That's pretty
cool,
wild. Yeah,
kind of
that's
interesting. Yeah.
interesting. I'll have to look
So,
that up.
but yeah.
I think
Um
one newer bands I really love is Interpol. I don't know if you were listening
I
to
love
them.
Interpol.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fantastic. They have so many
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
So
I think it's called Turn on the Bright Lights, right? Was their
yeah.
debut, I think. I bought that on vinyl. Haven't opened it yet, but
Okay.
I buy a lot of vinyl. So
Yeah.
so and usually vinyl, you know, there has to be a time you listen to it, right? Like it's not like you can throw it
Yeah.
on in the car.
Right.
So usually I'm cooking or cleaning,
Okay.
one of those
Oh,
two
that's great.
things, right? I just have
Yeah.
so I haven't opened that one yet, but yeah, Interpol is really
Mm.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great. Yeah, it's a
Very,
commitment.
very, I loved when that came out, and it was very Joy Division like, and
Yes. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another
So
band I love. Joy Division,
yeah.
Ian Curtis.
Did you listen to you mentioned Bauhaus? Did you listen to any of the LSU or Michael Knott stuff?
LSU, I remember Lifesavers Underground.
Yeah, Shaded Pain was like one of the albums that I really fell in love with,
Oh,
like
okay.
early on,
Yeah, I had one of them, I remember.
and
I
it was
don't remember a
very
lot.
Bauhaus like. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
I think the song they opened up with a song called Jordan River,
Hmm.
and it was like one of the Bauhaus songs, and I can't remember what the name of it is, like
Hmm.
sped up. It's almost like
Okay.
the exact melody and everything,
Oh, that's
but
cool.
sped up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh. That's
yeah,
neat.
but
I'll have to go back and listen to him some more.
yeah,
Um,
but
but yeah, I do remember him. Something. This is the Healing. I think I had that album.
oh yeah, that one just came out on vinyl. Yeah,
Oh, cool. I remember that
I
one.
didn't get it. I really liked it a lot, but it was kind of interesting album. Almost kind of sounded unfinished to me in some
Okay.
ways.
Yeah. Hmm.
um,
Yeah, that's the only one I really
but I dig
remember.
the sound. It was very one of the other bands the concert I was going to go to last night was
Hmm.
actually Mission UK was
Yeah.
headlining, which I really
Oh,
like Mission UK as well.
yeah.
I
That's
love
neat.
the Chameleons, so that's what I was going for. But
Yeah.
it was Mission UK, and the Chameleons, and then Theater of Pain.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the
So
name. I couldn't tell you
yeah,
anything.
I can't I couldn't tell you any of their songs,
Hmm.
but Mission UK was very, I think, influenced the LSU quite a bit.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
well, hey man,
Yeah.
I'd love to cover a church album sometime.
Awesome.
We can
That
chat
sounds good.
about it, talk about it.
Yeah.
We can do Heyday.
Can listen to it in
You should know Heyday well,
I do.
if
I
that's your
do. Yeah.
favorite.
That sounds good.
So
That'd be great. I'd love to do that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Awesome.
So you want to I'm going to put a bunch of links to all your stuff in the show
Okay.
notes, but do you want to just plug yourself? You know,
Hmm.
where you at? You're on Spotify, you're on Bandcamp. I
Yeah. I'm
recommend
on
people go to Bandcamp because you can
right.
support
Yeah.
financially, you can
Yeah.
purchase,
Go
and
to
it's
Bandcamp and search Airedale and like Unspoken Words is the name of the album. That'd be great. Yeah. We're on or we I'm on pretty much
we
all the
you're
streaming.
schizophrenic, aren't you?
That's right. Well, I do have a couple of you guys I work with, so
Yeah, cool.
so yeah, I'm pretty much on all the streaming sites. So uh Airedale. Yeah. I'm not very good at sales. I'm a terrible salesman.
On Bandcamp, it actually has that little link tree thing
Yeah.
underneath, and you can click on that, and it'll take you to a site that has everywhere you are, which is
Okay.
cool. Yeah, so it's
Mhm.
pretty handy. So,
Yeah. That's
but
awesome.
anything else you want to chat about?
Hmm.
We're pretty short. I usually go long because I talk a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm working on this interviewing thing where I just shut my mouth and listen.
Oh
And you're
man.
kind of a guy of few words. So,
Well, I know, and
which is fine. Which
that
is
was one of my
fine.
worries, I
That's
know
fine.
myself
No,
and I'm
that's
like
cool.
kind of I'm somewhat of an introvert.
Yeah. Well, I was just excited to talk to somebody who loves a lot of the same bands, and
Yeah, me too.
hearing that you love the church
That's right.
puts me through the moon, man,
Oh,
because
that's great. That's
there's no you
great.
don't meet too many people who love the church.
Yeah, I know. And you should because they were so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a open mic once. I was playing guitar, just acoustic and vocals, and somebody came up to me after and they're like, "Are you a church fan?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah,
It,
you sound."
it
And I think
showed
I was
through.
almost like mimicking Steve Kilbey in a way that night or something. I was just I'm a wannabe, Steve Kilbey. Great
Yeah.
voice.
Oh man, his voice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, I love Marty. Marty's great, but Steve
Hmm.
Kilby's voice, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so rich, and I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Marty.
warm and rich, and it pulls you in.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Marty
Yeah.
was different than the rest of them. He was like a rocker. Like there was
Yeah.
What was that? Russian Autumn Heart. You remember off of
Russian
Gold?
Autumn Heart. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did that
mean
one.
they had their normal sound, and all of a sudden he just
Russian,
wails his hard rock solo, and
right?
he had this
Yeah,
awesome rock and roll hair. He was
yeah,
totally different than the rest. It was Peter Kops, I think, was more of the ambient guy,
yeah.
awesome guitar
Have
player.
you ever heard his solo album?
I have one of them on
He's got at least
vinyl.
one solo album, so it's really interesting. It's got
Yeah.
a lot of if I remember right, it's I haven't listened to it for a long time. If I
Mhm.
remember right, the one I listened to had a lot of organ music or synth sounds in it.
Yeah, I
That was
have it
pretty
on
cool.
vinyl. It's like a clear album, you can see through it and stuff. It's
That was
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool,
I
especially
don't
since he
listen
was a
to it a lot.
guitarist.
Yeah,
Um,
great guitar
but
player.
I guess Marty is not currently in the band.
Yeah, I
So
don't think is Peter in the band still.
I don't think Peter is either.
Yeah, I don't think any of those
Yeah,
guys are
yeah.
anymore. The original drummer, I don't think even.
But I really like that um Cold Afternoon Fix lineup.
Mm, yeah,
I think
those
it
are
was Marty, Peter, Steve, and I want to say Richard Plug was the
yes,
drummer at the
yeah,
time.
definitely.
I
Yeah,
could have that wrong,
no, I think you're right. That
but
sounds right.
Pharaoh, and I mean just
Yeah,
that, oh my gosh.
you're still
Yeah.
beautiful. That's a great
You're
tune.
still beautiful, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a perfect album. That's
Now I'm
it
gonna have to
is.
go back and listen to that one. So I might have to make you do we'll do Heyday and Gold Afternoon Fix.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah,
That's great. Well, I'll definitely do my
I would
homework.
love it. Yeah,
That sounds great.
cool. Well, thanks for chatting with me.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
I really do love the music. I'm real transparent and honest, and so like when I first started listening to it, I was like, wow, there's a lot going on here, you know.
Right.
And I'm trying to in the vocals, like they're pretty buried, they're kind of enhanced, I'm sure you use like vocal things, enhancements
Hmm.
and things like that,
Yeah, I use a
and
lot of effects.
fuzz that's attached to the vocals and stuff like that, like you're
Sometimes,
playing.
yeah,
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 but it's pretty cool because like the vocals sound a lot different on each song, and they sound different within the same song,
right.
like a
Oh,
lot of times. And I
awesome.
think that's super cool.
Oh, that's
And I'm
cool.
glad that I took the time to like listen over and over again and try to pull the lyrics out, because it
Yeah.
made me like really appreciate like a lot of the unique like tempo changes and stuff in the songs.
Okay.
So I think it's really cool. That keeps it interesting, and I think that's what for me that's what post punk is all about. It's about creativity.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I listen to. There's a lot of modern post punk bands out now, and some of them are kind of boring. So I mean, it's almost like you listen to the album
Yeah.
and from beginning to end, it sounds like the same song. So I'm trying. I definitely don't want to do that, because nobody wants to hear that. But yeah, it's
Yeah, it makes a huge difference putting those little things in, to switch it up. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I love nuances. That's pretty much describes the music, things that you don't plan for sometimes that come out, in songs. I'll leave in just because it makes it more interesting, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I remember
Do
there
you
was
have a favorite album by The Call? You mentioned The Call.
yeah, not really. I mean, the album that had "I Still Believe" on it,
Yeah, that
was the
was
one I
Reconciled.
mostly
Yeah.
listened to. I think I need to go back and listen to them more.
Um, their early albums were really phenomenal. They're all on Mercury. They call them the Mercury years.
Okay,
They were very punky, post-punky.
yeah,
And my favorite album is called Into the Woods. It came out after Reconciled, the one you
okay,
were referring
yeah,
to.
that's right.
And it's like a lot darker.
Okay,
And we're getting ready to try to do an episode on that.
oh, that's
Um,
cool.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the band Love Coma.
Yes, just
Chris
from your show.
Taylor.
From your
Chris
show, I
Taylor
have.
is okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chris Taylor's
yeah.
a singer from Love
Mm.
Coma, and Love Coma was a around about the time you guys were doing your demos.
Okay.
Love Coma was kind of a thing, and
Oh, that's cool.
kind of some of the music actually on the demos kind of. I think the beginning of Considerate Friend, there's like a guitar that kind of sounds like Love Coma, so
Oh, that's cool.
kind
Yeah.
of very similar.
Okay.
But we're gonna try to do a episode on Into the Woods because we're like that's a favorite album of Mark Feldbush, who's done some of the episodes with me, and
Yeah, yeah,
Chris Taylor
definitely.
and a lot of other people,
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
and we'd like to do the 77s at some point.
Yeah,
I'd love to get Mike Rowe to join. You know,
yeah, I was gonna say that.
I'm gonna give
Yeah,
it a shot. We'll
that'd be
see.
awesome. He's really easygoing. It seems like it'd be
He
pretty.
is, yeah, he
I'll send him
is.
a note.
So,
I'll send him a note. I mean, he doesn't
do you
know
know
me,
him?
but no, I mean, I've talked to him before, but yeah, he
Oh,
doesn't
if you've
remember me
talked
or
to him,
anything.
yeah.
But
Well, I
I'll
I
send him a
thought what
note.
would I
Get
thought
on
what
the
would be
show.
cool. The thing that keeps coming up in like a lot of the people I talk to is
Mhm.
they call it the Island release.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the 77
Sticks and
self-titled.
Stones.
Yeah, the Sticks and Stones came out after the Island release. So there
Okay.
was one called 77s. It's just a self-titled
Oh,
77s,
with
and it's
does he have
commonly
more
referred
miserable
to.
on it? So,
That was actually
or is that
after
after?
Sticks and Stones,
That's after
which I
Sticks.
love that. I loved
Yeah, me too.
Miserable, that track. Oh my
It's a great
God.
song. Yeah,
And a lot of the songs on there. But yeah, so the 77 self-titled, aka the Island record,
right.
um, came out in 1987.
Okay.
I think it was the same day as U2's um, Joshua Tree came out.
Oh wow.
So Island had their hands
Right.
full with
Right.
trying to promote and handle the Joshua Tree. So the 77's album got very little promotion. Like, and you can
Yeah.
hear Mike talks about this in some of the interviews he does. For instance, on True Tunes, you're
Mhm.
probably familiar with True Tunes if you're, or maybe not.
Who hosts that?
John J. Thompson, who was actually, I think, in a band called The Wayside in the
Oh,
80s and
okay.
early 90s. But True Tunes was like it was like a magazine that was based in Chicago,
Okay.
but I think they also ran a bookstore and they like really promoted like the fringe music, like the
Right.
alternative music,
Sure.
like Adam again and Undercover and Daniel
Yeah.
Amos and the 77s and LSU, like the alternative stuff, right?
Yeah.
So but excuse me. But anyway,
Mm.
um this the a lot of people love that 77 self-titled album,
Mm.
and Mike Rowe is not like super thrilled about that 77's album.
Right.
um
Maybe a little bitter. Or,
well
you know.
he wanted, if you buy the album on CD it has a bunch of the demos,
Mm.
and he felt like the demos were like a little more representative of what he wanted it to sound like.
Right.
So but it got produced, kind of like the um we did don't tell a soul for the Replacements, and the band was
Okay.
not
Sure. Yeah.
super happy with the produced version. They liked the
Right. Right.
demos better. It was one of those things.
Yeah.
So long story to say, I
Mhm.
would love to get like a bunch of the people that have talked to me about this on a Zoom call with Mike Rowe
Oh, that'd
and
be
talk to
cool.
him about why we love this album and like get
Oh,
his,
that'd be
pick his
awesome. Yeah.
brain on it. So,
Yeah.
but
That'd be great.
yeah, the self-titled, I don't know if you remember any of the songs. Do you think you've heard it probably?
From
The
the
Island
subtitled
record.
77s.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I
It,
had Sticks and Stones
oh, you
on
should go and
CD.
listen to it. You should go and
Okay.
listen. It's what was in that letter.
Yeah, I know the song.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that
Mhm.
song. I mean, that was from the self-titled, The Island.
Okay.
Sticks and Stones is probably those two are my favorite
Yeah.
77's albums.
Yeah.
I do like All Fall Down quite a bit too. It
Yeah.
was very new wavy.
Yeah.
Had a lot of great tracks on it. But
Yeah. Ba Ba Ba
anyway,
was like the first
ba ba
77
ba.
song I ever heard. It was
What
a
was it?
there's a Christian radio station in Syracuse called Love
Hmm.
105, and remember he would play it on there. Chris Hauser would play it on there.
Yeah, that one got a lot of airplay, I think, as a
Yeah,
single from that album.
it's a great
I
song.
love the Unguarded Moment is the opening
Yeah,
track. That's an awesome song. It's my favorite
yeah.
song on there.
But doesn't the church have a song called "Unguarded Moment" also?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so that's pretty
And I want to ask, I'd like to ask him, like, did you pull that from there? Because I think
right.
the church that was off their very first release. The
I think
church's
you're right. Yeah,
of Hearts and
great
Skin.
song.
I
Yeah,
think it's of Hearts and Skin was the very first one.
I think you
Or
might be right.
it's either of Skins and Heart or of Hearts and Skin. I
It's
always
been a
get it
while.
backwards.
Yeah, I have it
But
on CD somewhere.
But I bought the vinyl not long ago. I found it
Oh,
at a used record store.
oh, that's a
Yeah.
good fun. Yeah,
So yeah.
that's
So,
awesome.
but
That's really cool.
all right. Well, I could talk your ear off on all this stuff, but I won't.
That's fine. Now I'm enjoying it. But yeah, it's good
Go on and
talking to you. I
on.
appreciate it.
But yeah, I'd love to, like I said, I'd love to do a couple church albums. Not that I know you're a big church fan.
Yeah, well,
I'll let you
hopefully
know
we
how
can.
the concert goes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They
Awesome.
have a
Yeah.
new release, and I don't know what they'll play.
Hmm.
I forgot the name of the new release right now,
Like
which I shouldn't.
synagogue or something.
Yeah, it's something Hypnagogue. It's
Hypnagogue, yeah.
Hypnagogue.
There
Yes,
you go.
thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's a good
Hypnagogue, and
album.
I've
I've
listened.
listened
I've
to it.
listened to it a couple times.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
kind of feel like maybe they're going to do that. And so now, right now, on Facebook, there's a bunch of people unhappy because a bunch of fans, church fans, unhappy because at the concerts they're gonna sell
Hmm.
CDs that of this hypnagogue, but it's also going to come with an extra CD that you can only get at the concert.
Oh,
I
okay.
forget what it's called, of unreleased tracks, new tracks.
Oh
And
wow.
so there's a
Okay.
bunch of fans that are pissed because they're not going to be at the concert and they can't get it and it's not fair
Oh
and all
man.
this.
Yeah.
And in the church, one of the guys from the church actually went on and said something. He's like, you know, I can't believe people are like so upset about it. Like it's going to be released eventually to everyone else.
Right, right.
Obviously, I mean, we're in this age of in the internet. But
Yeah,
anyway,
some people get pretty intense about things like
they
that,
do,
but you
they do.
know.
But, you know,
That's funny. Yeah,
it's the
hopefully
I want it now. The I want
yeah.
it now. But
Yeah, I
well, thanks a
definitely want
lot,
to
man.
see it. Good to
Anything
see
else? Anything else you want to say or add?
no, no, I think I think I pretty much said everything.
Well, I'm
I
glad. Thanks for
appreciate you
reaching out
hanging
on the
out.
Echo and the Bunnyman thing, man. That was
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I found you because I think I just searched the choir on Spotify, and you had interviewed Steve Hinalong, and that's where I first found your
Okay, cool.
podcast. So I listened to that, and then I started listening to the other ones, and they're all great. So
Oh,
a lot of good
thanks.
stuff.
Yeah. I listened to some of the early and I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. But I don't
You learn from it, you know.
you learn. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Most people probably won't notice the stuff you
And I'm
know.
doing it all myself. So.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Same idea.
I'm happy. I mean, I'm like, there's a bunch of people that listen regularly, and I'm like, there's a
It's
lot of
great.
things you could be listening to.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of us out here,
There's a
same
lot of
age.
things you could be using your time on, and you're actually tuning in to listen to this. So
Pretty cool. Yeah.
and I just do it because I love music and I love interacting with people. So I really appreciate you reaching out because
Oh yeah,
that's one of the
definitely.
reasons I do it is like to make friends and
Yeah,
like-minded. Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, and
that's cool.
I think we're missing something like this. I mean, there's a lot of us that grew up, the same sort of way that we didn't have something like this. I mean, I don't think there's anything else like this on Spotify. And maybe you know of something, but there's probably
There's
a few.
very few shows that are like this, I think.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, man.
Yeah, well,
Any
thank you.
anything you would like to hear us do?
Well, I'd like to hear Michael Rowe interview with him.
Yeah, he's on my list. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that would be one of the main things. Yeah, I like the idea of the church, going over church albums.
Yep, I'll be doing that.
I think a lot of people need to hear them. I think a lot of people missed out on them.
Yeah,
Most people, you mentioned the
for
church, and they're
sure.
like, "Yeah, Under the Milky Way, great song."
Yes, that's the only song
Like,
they know.
yeah, there's like so many other great songs. It is a good
They've
song.
they've they've seen Donnie Darko, and that had Under the Milky Way.
Right. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, so many other good songs. Though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, thanks, man.
All right, thank you. It's
Hope
good
you
talking to
enjoy
you.
the rest of your. It's pretty late. What is it? 8:25 there.
Yeah.
I think you're an hour ahead of me. Yeah. All right. So it's not
Probably
too
good.
late. I didn't keep you too long.
Oh no, it's been great. Went by
Yeah.
quick. I'm gonna go play with my son before he goes to sleep.
Yeah. Got to do that, man. I can't play with my son is 20.
Oh,
So I
well,
can play I could watch videos with him or something.
yeah, I have a
Yeah.
21 and a 23-year-old also.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, I've
they're
got 27,
freshmen.
25, 23, and 20.
Okay,
almost
Awesome.
21. So
Yeah, I kind of
lots
started over.
lots of fun. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right.
Yep.
Well,
All right,
thanks,
good
man.
talk.
Talk to you
Thank you.
soon. Okay.
All
Keep in
right.
touch. Okay.
I will. Thanks.
All right. Take care, James.